Hey, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to another video on CellMed. And for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Salman Ahmed and I am an incoming first year medical student who will be starting medical school in the fall. And in today's video, I wanted to focus on a new thing that just recently came up in the world of medicine, and that is that step 2, clinical skills, is no more. So for those of you who don't know, Step 2 CS, or Clinical Skills, is an 8-hour long exam where you as a medical student go in and see standardized patients who kind of act like actors, and they pretend to have issues with their bodies and are going through some difficulty, and it's your job again as a doctor to be able to solve and address their issue and figure out what's wrong with them. And while all this is happening, you're being scrutinized and being looked at by professors and medical doctors to kind of make sure that you're going through the right steps, that you're doing the proper steps for the physical exam, that you're asking the right questions, and eventually that you're actually treating the patient and coming up with the right diagnosis and the treatment plan. Throughout the day, you see a handful of patients, and after you're done seeing every single patient, you go out and write a full report on what you observed and the future treatment plans for that patient. So you're pretty much simulating a real life of a doctor. So how this all started was when COVID first hit, the USMLE board or administration was trying to come up with a way to find an exam that would replace Step 2 clinical skills, because they needed something that wasn't in person, wasn't so hands-on, and they were trying to come up with something to replace this exam, most likely in an online format. From what I know, while they were discussing all these issues and what to do, they kind of were like, you know what? Let's just as a whole just get rid of this exam, because I think they kind of figured out that there's no way to administer this exam online. And while they were going through kind of like the details, they were like, do we even really need this exam? So overall, they decided to get rid of this exam, and is not a requirement to graduate medical school anymore. And to be honest, some people actually thought, and this is from what I've read, is that this is something that they saw coming from a long time ago. And this is because they thought that this exam was never a good measure to test the competency of what makes a good doctor. A lot of people felt very uncomfortable in these settings of people pretending to have issues, coming in as standardized patients or pretty much actors who are pretending to have issues. And one person was actually saying in this video I was watching, was he went into his exam and this 30-year-old woman was pretending to be an 8-year-old having some sort of pain in her knee. So this 30-year-old woman is acting like an 8-year-old. And as a medical student, that really kind of throws you off, especially when you're seeing this as an examination, you're being scrutinized and looked at, and it's not a very comfortable position to be in. Now, to get to the point of how this could affect DOs and future DOs like myself, and again, this is just my opinion here. So as we all know, Step 1 as well as Complex Level 1 have all recently become pass-fail, and in my opinion, Step 2 CK, which is a written exam, will also follow suit not too long from now, in my opinion. Now, it's not a secret that as DO applicants trying to match into allopathic or MD residencies, we as DOs have to work a bit harder than our MD counterparts for matching into the same residency. So as DOs, the more firepower that we have, which in this case would be the clinical skills exam, the more optimization we have as DOs to match into these MD and allopathic residencies. So what I'm saying is that maybe having this extra check mark on our application as a DO would show these residency directors that as DOs or as a applicant, we have that competency that clinical skills supposedly tests, and that we can make good doctors. But I also see the argument on the other hand, where as a medical student in general, we don't have to focus on this exam anymore. We don't have to put in our time to try and study for it. Rather, we can work on our extracurriculars, such as research, such as volunteering, being a president of a club, whatever it may be. We have more time to do that now because we don't have to worry about this one exam. So there are two sides and two arguments to the spectrum, and again, this is just my opinion. So I'm interested to see how this will play out in the future for not only osteopathic medical students, but also allopathic medical students. Again, as I've mentioned many times in this video, this is just my opinion. I'm just spewing out what's on my mind and spewing out some words. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below and share what do you think this cancellation of this exam will have not only on DOs but just medical students in general. Does this exam really test the competency of what makes a good doctor in your opinion? Please share in the comments. That is all for this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Again, leave those comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.